Good evening and thank you for joining us for KREM 2 News 10 at 10, where we give you more news in less time. Let's get started. Kick things off once again with the weather tonight. Our snow may have melted overnight, but it's leaving cold temperatures and strong winds in its wake. Let's get right to Chief Meteorologist Jeremy Legoo for more on what we can expect in the coming hours and days. Jeremy?
Well, Mark, when it comes to the wind advisories, we're starting to trim back some of those. Or by we, I mean the National Weather Service. I have no control over this. I just tell you what's going on. Out in the Columbia Basin, we're starting to see signs of winds starting to die down, but we still have some strong southwesterly winds coming from the Tri-Cities up into the Spokane and Coeur d'Alene area. Palouse getting hit hard as well. When it comes to those wind gusts, I seriously think we are through the worst of it. It's hard to explain. Yes, it is going to be windy for a little bit longer, but yes, we have seen the strongest wind gusts out of this event. The wind will continue to die down overnight, and by tomorrow morning, it's pretty calm considering. But the snow, that sticks around. Our blizzard warnings and winter storm warnings last through 10 a.m. tomorrow for both the Cascades and the Rocky Mountains respectively. When it comes to that snow, it's still falling. You can see it really coming down there. 4th of July and Lookout Pass picking up even more. Starting to catch a quick little break over Snoqualmie Pass, but overall, it looks like a bulk of that activity stays to our south as we move through the next day or so. But the big story here is quickly going to become the cold. Temperatures take a dive in the days to come. By the time we close out the week, single-digit lows and maybe even down below zero at times.
Oh my goodness. All right, we'll check back in with you later in the broadcast. Jeremy, thank you very much. Well, the pass is getting hit pretty hard right now. Stevens Pass was just closed hours ago. This is a look at conditions on Snoqualmie Pass right now. Some directions and areas have been closed off and on the past few days. We do know Gonzaga students head back to school in a week. Many coming from Seattle will have to cross over that pass. Meantime, near whiteout conditions reported by the Idaho Department of Transportation today. This is along US 20 near Mountain Home. So just a reminder, check conditions before you travel or tune into KREM 2 News. We'll keep you updated on crashes and closures. Well, the cold front moving through the inland northwest will be having an impact on Spokane's unhoused population. The Hope House and the Teen Crosswalk Shelter are both at capacity tonight. But the shelter says, well, the cold makes it a more pressing issue. The demand actually has nothing to do with the weather.
Hope House Shelter especially has been at capacity because of rent. We're seeing the need increase with people not being able to afford their rent. They're on fixed income, their rent increases, and they don't have a safety net.
They say they've had to turn away women for about a week now and had to refer 4 women to another shelter just last night. But some of the partner shelters, they're also full. So tonight, a quick check of the shelter Spokane shows bed spaces at the Trent shelter, Spokane's largest, sit at just 39 out of 400 open beds. In other news tonight, Governor Jay Inslee says the state is stronger than ever as he enters his last year in office. That's what he said during the State of the State address at the Capitol today. Drew Mickelson has a look at the governor's priorities for this session and what Republicans are ready to fight about.
Governor Jay Inslee wants to increase pay for paraprofessionals in school and get more money from the state to clear encampments and fight fentanyl addiction. He also said he will spend his last year in office defending the state's climate law. The governor says the state is a leader when it comes to the economy, protecting civil rights and the environment. The Climate Commitment Act charges polluters in the state in an attempt to reduce carbon emissions. Critics have blamed the law for increasing the price of gas, and voters may have a chance to throw out the law come November. Governor Inslee says while he's leaving office, he is not just going to ride off into the sunset, and he won't allow the state to go backwards on climate policy.
This legislature put us on a clear and necessary path to slash greenhouse gases by 95% by 2050. Any delay would be a betrayal of our children's future. We are now on the razor's edge between promise and peril.
It's very frustrating to the average Washingtonian. I understand that we're working on climate change and we want to address carbon issues, but I don't think here in the great state of Washington that we need to do it on the backs of working Washingtonians. Towards the end of his State of the State address, the governor said he would like lawmakers to pass a constitutional amendment to guarantee abortion rights in the state of Washington, but that would require a 2/3 majority in both the House and the Senate, which means it would require bipartisan support, and it does not appear those votes are there from the Republicans. In Olympia, Drew Mickelson, KREM 2 News.
And now to a special edition of Night Beat with a quick look at today's top legislative stories. On the first day of the 2024 session, Washington lawmakers unanimously passed a bill to ban marriages of anyone under the age of 18. Child marriage is currently still legal in Washington. At this time, only 10 states have actually banned child marriage. State Representative Jim Walsh spoke on the floor in favor of the ban. He said the bill will acknowledge that there are certain decisions children are not capable of making.
We believe there are some elements of life that a child is not capable of entering into or deciding about on his or her own. And we believe that this issue, this marriage, is one of those things.
The bill now heads to the state Senate for consideration. Meantime, today was the first full day of the Idaho 2024 legislative session. One thing highlighted on Governor Brad Little's agenda this time is education.
We can invest $2 billion to modernize and improve school facilities in every district and every corner of the state.
Is part of a new plan outlined by Little called Idaho Works. He also wants to build on the state's transportation budget by adding $200 million to improve dilapidated bridges in the state and an additional $800 million for other badly needed transportation projects. And already an Idaho representative has introduced a bill to change all references of the word fetus to preborn child in Idaho code. She claimed the change, quote, replaces a medicalized term with a term we all understand to be a person, unquote. Planned Parenthood Alliance advocates condemned the proposal, saying in a statement it would move Idaho law further from medical accuracy. And that was your Night Beat. To learn more about any of these stories, just head to our website. That's KREM.com. Well, Boeing held a staff-wide safety meeting today after a door plug blew off a 737 MAX 9 airplane. An ongoing inspection of Boeing 737 MAX 9s found loose bolts on the grounded jets. National Transportation Safety Board investigators are honing in on the 4 bolts that should have kept that door panel from flying off last Friday. Trouble is, they can't find them.
We have not yet recovered the 4 bolts that restrain it from its vertical movement, and we have not yet determined if they existed.
The NTSB says it will be able to figure that out, though, through testing, but a full report on the incident could take a year to complete. Meantime, today, National Transportation Safety officials visited Bob Sauer's classroom. He's an Oregon science teacher who found the door plug in his backyard. That door was still intact.
In my physics A class, we've just finished talking about impulse and momentum, so that comes up as well. The trees acted like an airbag and made for a longer stop and a lower force.
The head of the NTSB says he hopes they inspired Bob's students to pursue futures in transportation safety with the NTSB. Former President Donald Trump appeared before a federal appeals court for the unprecedented argument over whether he should be immune from prosecution for trying to overturn the results of the 2020 election. This after a trial judge rejected his claim of presidential immunity last year, saying a former president doesn't just receive a get-out-of-jail-free card. Today, the judge panel once again appeared skeptical, painting a dire picture of the future if a president can't be charged with a crime.
The president has a unique constitutional role, but he is not above the law.
I feel that as a president, you have to have immunity. Very simple.
No matter how the court rules, the losing side is expected to appeal again, which means that Trump's scheduled March 4th trial date is very much in jeopardy of being delayed until a later date. Well, the discovery of a secret tunnel beneath a historic Brooklyn synagogue set off a massive brawl between police and several Hasidic worshipers. The synagogue spokesperson says the tunnel was created by a group of misguided young men, calling it vandalism. But those in support of the tunnel claim they were carrying out an expansion plan. Tonight, the tunnel is closed off as the building safety agents investigate it. And a live broadcast by an Ecuadorian television station was interrupted by armed people today, demanding staff lie down on the floor. It all happened while the station was live on the air. The feed was eventually cut off, but not before shots were heard and a lot of yelling. The incident followed the kidnapping of at least 7 police officers and a series of explosions. The country's president has declared a state of emergency. And that was your KREM 2 News 10 at 10, where you get more news in less time.